This video is about Thor destroys bridge until ice giant returns. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. Thor destroys bridge until ice giant returns. In the realms beyond the veil of Midgard, where gods tread lightly upon the clouds and the earth breathes with the whispers of the ancients, the great expanse of Yggdrasil stood tall, its branches connecting worlds and destinies. It was a time when heroes carved their names into the annals of eternity, and the air crackled with a sense of impending doom. At the heart of Asgard, where golden halls gleamed under the watchful gaze of Odin, the All-Father, a storm brewed. Thor, son of Odin and protector of the realms, stood atop the precipice of Bifrost, the shimmering bridge that linked Asgard to Midgard and beyond. His face, marked by fierce determination, reflected the weight of his lineage. He gripped Mjolnir, his mighty hammer, its runes alive with the fury of thunder as the winds howled around him. Thor, a voice rang out, echoing across the ethereal vibrance of Bifrost. It was Heimdall, the vigilant guardian of the bridge, his eyes like twin suns scanning the horizon. The giants stir, they conspire against us, plotting vengeance for ages past. You must be ready. Thor's heart thundered in sync with the storm brewing within. Let them come, I will not rest while they tread upon our sacred lands. He clenched his fists, feeling the pulse of adrenaline course through him. The giants, ancient and proud, had long been a bane to the gods, their sinister schemes unfolding like a malodorous mist. Even as he braced himself for battle, whispers of prophecy tugged at his mind. The seers had foretold of a great confrontation, a clash that would shake the very foundations of the realms. Yet they spoke of sacrifice, the price to be paid for the safety of Asgard. Days turned into a tempest of preparation, crisscrossed with the fervor of warriors sharpening their blades and the incantations of seers who sought solace in the stars. Thor stood resolute, his heart a crucible of hope and terror, for he understood that destiny would soon unfold before him. Suddenly, the earth trembled, and the skies darkened, heralding the approach of the ice giants from the frozen expanses of Jotunheim. Their leader, Edifiner, a towering figure clad in glistening frost, emerged from the mist, his presence an echo of ancient wrath. His eyes, cold and gleaming like shards of ice, locked onto Thor, igniting a fire within the god's chest. Thor! Edifiner bellowed, his voice a gale of bitter winds. Your arrogance has blinded you. You think you can destroy us and remain unscathed. Even now, we sharpen our blades of vengeance. Thor stepped forward, raising Mjolnir high, the air around him crackling with divine energy. Edifiner, your time has passed. The realms have forgotten your cruelty, and I will ensure they remember your defeat. With a roar, the battle erupted, thunder echoing across the heavens as the sky split open. Lightning arced from Mjolnir, illuminating the dark horizon as it struck the giants like wrathful stars. The clash of steel and bone reverberated through the air, a symphony of chaos and valor. In the heart of the fray, Thor fought with the ferocity of a tempest, his hammer a blur of divine destruction. Giants fell before him, their ancient forms crumbling under the weight of his fury. Yet amidst the clash, a flicker of doubt ignited in his heart. What if this battle could only lead to further disaster? What if the sacrifices foretold by the seers were not merely metaphors? As the dust settled and the last giant fell, Edifiner, wounded but unyielding, glared at Thor with a mix of hatred and fear. You may have vanquished us today, but the ice never forgets. I will return, and when I do, I will bring forth a storm that will shatter your very existence. With a final wave of his hammer, Thor sent Edifiner tumbling into the abyss, the echoes of his rage resonating through the realms. Triumph surged through him, yet a gnawing unease lingered in his heart. He had defended Asgard, but at what cost? Days turned into weeks, and the remnants of the battle faded into myth. Yet Thor sensed something darker, a brewing storm that loomed on the horizon, more potent than any foe he had ever faced. The connection he shared with the realms felt frayed, as if the threads of destiny were woven tighter with every passing moment. It was then that a cold dread filled the air. The seers, cloaked in shadows, gathered before Thor and Odin, their faces a tapestry of worry. Great All-Father, we have seen a resurgence, a gathering of the giants, led by a new force, a power of ice and vengeance. Odin's gaze hardened, the weight of the realms resting upon his shoulders. We cannot let this go unanswered. We must send forth a champion, one who can brave the icy depths of Jotunheim and discover the source of this turmoil. Thor's heart thundered in his chest. I will go, send me to confront this new threat. But Odin, wise and weary, shook his head. The journey is fraught with peril, son. You may not return unscathed, and yet, as you said, we cannot afford to sit idle. You must face your destiny. With a heavy heart, Thor set to the path laid before him, the spectre of sacrifice looming ever nearer. He donned his armor, feeling the weight of legacy press against his shoulders. As he stepped on to Bifrost once more, Heimdall's voice echoed in his mind. Remember, Thor, honor binds us, but destiny is a fickle mistress. The choices you make will shape the fates of all realms. With those words resonating in his heart, Thor journeyed into the frost-laden darkness of Jotunheim. The air turned icy, a biting chill creeping into his bones as shadows danced around him, whispering secrets of despair. Each step felt heavy, laden with the knowledge of what lay ahead. Thunder rumbled ominously, and the ground beneath him trembled. It was there, amidst the labyrinth of ice and stone, that he encountered the remnant of Vedifnir's wrath, a colossal fortress forged of the very essence of winter, towering above the desolation like a tombstone for the fallen. As he approached, the gates creaked open, revealing a throne draped in frost, on which sat Hrimthasar, the ice giant queen, her icy gaze piercing through the blizzard that surrounded her. Thor, you dared challenge my kin, and now you come to face me. You will learn the price of defiance. A chill ran down Thor's spine, yet he summoned every ounce of defiance within him. I seek to end this cycle of vengeance. You cannot wield the power of the ancients without consequence. Hrimthasar laughed, the sound resonating like shattering glass. You speak of consequences, but you do not understand the true nature of sacrifice. You will soon discover that the ice remembers, and so do I. In the throes of battle, ice shards flew from her hands like arrows, each one finding its mark in the frozen ground around Thor. He countered with Mjolnir, striking back with the fury of thunder. The air crackled as their powers collided, sending ripples through the very fabric of reality. The battle continued, a tempest of ice and lightning, each strike echoing the fate of worlds. Yet, deep in his heart, Thor felt an unsettling truth: the conflict would not end here. No matter how fiercely he fought, the spectre of sacrifice loomed, waiting to be claimed. As the final clash echoed through the frozen fortress, Thor found himself standing over Hrimthasar, his hammer raised for the coup de GRC. Yet, in that moment of triumph, he hesitated, the weight of countless lives resting upon his shoulders. Victory at what cost? He whispered, the words carrying the weight of prophecy. Would he sacrifice the cycle of bloodshed, or would he succumb to the darkness of vengeance? In that split second, the world held its breath, and destiny teetered on the edge of a precipice, waiting for the choice that would forever alter the course of existence. The echoes of ice and thunder faded into silence, leaving only the resounding question echoing in the hearts of gods and giants alike: what would Thor decide? And thus, the legend of the ice giants and the thunder god began to weave its tale, a tapestry of honor, consequence, and the relentless pursuit of destiny that stretched far beyond the realms of the living, capturing the essence of what it meant to be a hero. ** to be continued. ** Thor destroys bridge until ice giant returns. Part 2. ** Time held its breath within the frozen fortress, the earth thick with tension. Thor's heart raced, caught between the thrill of conquest and the gnawing echo of doubt. The once mighty Hrimthasar lay defeated at his feet, her frost-laden visage twisted in a mix of fury and disbelief. Do you think victory comes without cost, Thor? She hissed, her voice thin like ice cracking underfoot. You may strike me down, but the cycle of vengeance is as eternal as the winter that binds our realms. I shall rise again. With every beat of his heart, the weight of her words sank deeper into Thor's soul. He lowered Mjolnir, its aura dimming, the energy crackling in protest. To end this endless cycle, I must seek a different path, he murmured, a fierce resolve igniting within him. I will not be a pawn in this game of vengeance. Hrimthasar, sensing a flicker of uncertainty in the goddess' resolve, seized it as a final weapon. You think mercy is a strength? You're a fool, Thor. The giants will gather, and together we will unleash a storm that will lay waste to Asgard. The air vibrated with the tension of their confrontation, and Thor felt a storm brewing not just in the skies above but within his own heart. Images of past battles flickered through his mind, friends lost to the wrath of vengeance, blood spilled upon the sacred lands. Then let our fates intertwine, he declared, voice steady, filled with the thunderous weight of promise. If I spare you, you must promise to cease your war upon the realms, use your power to forge peace, not destruction. A flicker of surprise crossed Hrimthasar's icy features, caught off guard by the audacity of the proposition. You would give me a chance for redemption. The giants have only ever known bloodshed. What makes you think I could lead them differently? Because I choose to believe in the possibility of change. Thor's voice resonated with conviction. Honor is forged in the fires of choice. All creatures, even giants, have the capacity to embrace it. The ice giant queen's gaze bore into his, a tempest of emotions swelling beneath her icy exterior. You are brave, Thor, and foolish. Perhaps there is a flicker of warmth to your heart. Just then, a thunderous roar erupted from the depths of the fortress, shaking the very walls as if the mountain itself responded to the goddess-esque capitulation. Shadows swelled, and from the darkness emerged a towering figure of Vedifnir, the ice giant they thought vanquished, standing amidst a flurry of snow and rage. "Foolish girl," he bellowed, his voice echoing like an avalanche. "You dare tremble before the likes of this god? We are giants. We do not bow. We do not yield." In an instant, the atmosphere shifted from negotiation to conflict, and Thor, caught in the middle, raised Mjolnir once again. "Vedifnir, if you threaten peace, I will meet you with the full might of Asgard." The air crackled with tension as the two titans faced each other, each embodying the wrath of their respective realms. Hrimthur pushed herself up, a glimmer of defiance igniting in her frozen heart. "Vedifnir, heed my words. We have the chance to forge a new path. Don't you let anger dictate our destiny." The ice giant's laughter rumbled like thunder, thick with contempt. "You speak of peace while I was nearly slain by this god. I will not let your weakness taint our legacy. Let the storm of vengeance rise." With a growl of defiance, Vedifnir lunged forward, summoning an avalanche of ice that surged toward Thor. The ground quaked as the frozen onslaught cascaded, threatening to engulf him in a blizzard of despair. But Thor stood resolute, raising Mjolnir high as lightning erupted from the skies. By the might of Asgard, he roared, channeling the tempest, striking Mjolnir into the ground. A shockwave of thunder roared forth, shattering the oncoming ice into a million glittering shards that danced in the air like fallen stars. "Enough!" Hrimthur shouted, her voice ringing with authority. "Vedifnir, we must not fight amongst ourselves. We must show the gods that we are more than mere monsters." But her words fell on deaf ears, for Vedifnir was consumed by rage. "You have betrayed our ways. Hrimthur, you would let this thunder god dictate our fates. I will carve my legacy in ice and fire." In that moment, a cataclysmic battle ensued. Ice and lightning collided, creating a dazzling display of power and destruction. Thor, propelled by the storms of Midgard, clashed with Vedifnir, their strike shaking the very foundation of the fortress. The walls trembled, and echoes of ancient giants whispered through the air, urging vengeance. "Stand down," Thor commanded, deflecting a barrage of ice shards with Mjolnir. "Let us end this madness. We can reshape our destinies together." But Vedifnir, blinded by wrath, retaliated. With a sweeping arc of his arm, he conjured a blizzard that swirled around them, enveloping Thor in a cocoon of frost. The cold seeped into his bones, casting doubt into his heart. He felt the weight of his destiny pressing down, the choices he must make hanging like frost-laden branches above him. With a mighty roar, Thor broke free from the icy grasp, channeling the full force of thunder through Mjolnir. "I will not falter," he shouted, the sound reverberating through the fortress. Lightning arced from the hammer, tearing through the blizzard, illuminating Vedifnir's form amidst the chaos. In that moment, Hrimthur stepped forward, her voice cutting through the storm, filled with a newfound strength. "Enough of this. Our legacy is one of fury, but it does not have to end in destruction. I will stand with Thor against you, Vedifnir." "Stand?" Vedifnir glanced between the two, his anger flickering like a candle in the wind. "You would side with him, the god of thunder? You would turn your back on our kin?" "Yes, sir," Hrimthur declared, the winds of hope swirling around her. "I choose honor over vengeance. We can find a way to unite our people, to forge a new legacy together." The words hung heavy in the air, the storm around them stalling, as if the cosmos itself paused to consider their fate. Thor's heart pounded in his chest as he felt an unexpected glimmer of hope. "Together, we can stand against the darkness, Vedifnir. We can reshape the future." Caught in the maelstrom of emotions, Vedifnir faltered, his icy exterior cracking, revealing the flicker of doubt deep within. The echoes of his past began to surface, whispers of a time when honor guided his kin before vengeance consumed them. In that heartbeat of silence, Thor seized the chance, stepping forward with Mjolnir raised not in anger, but in an offering of unity. "Join us, Vedifnir. Let us carve a new path, not as enemies, but as allies against the storms that threaten our world." Vedifnir's gaze softened, the weight of ancient grudges wavering under the light of possibility. "You would forgive our trespasses, even after all that has been taken?" "Honor binds us," Thor replied, voice steady. "We are all forged from the same starlit night. Let us illuminate the dark together." A tense silence enveloped the fortress like a shroud. Hrimthur and Thor stood resolute, offering a choice that could alter the very fabric of their existence. And slowly, with the weight of destiny upon him, Vedifnir lowered his guard, the flicker of warmth igniting in his frigid heart. Perhaps there is another way, he said, his voice heavy with the burden of history, eyes glistening with unshed tears of pride and loss. If you truly mean it, if there is honor to be found, then I will stand beside you. With that, the storm ebbed, the blizzard fading into a gentle snowfall, and a new alliance began to take root in the heart of Jotunheim. The three powerful beings Thor, Hrimthasar, and Vedafina faced the horizon, where clouds still gathered ominously but now promised the potential of change. With a renewed purpose, they ventured forth into a world beyond the frost, hand in hand with destiny. The path ahead was shrouded in uncertainty, but together they would face whatever trials awaited them, united as champions of a new legacy, a tale that would echo through the ages, forever altering the fates of gods and giants alike. Asterisk to be continued. Asterisk Thor destroys bridge until ice giant returns part 3 asterisk. The air crackled with tension as Thor, Hrimthasar, and Vedafina stood on the precipice of a new dawn, the echoes of their past battles echoing in the depths of their hearts. The icy fortress of Jotunheim now felt less like a prison and more like a crucible, where destinies could be reshaped and legacies rewritten. The weight of their choices hung in the air, palpable and electric, as they turned their eyes towards the horizon, a horizon laden with uncertainty yet glimmering with the promise of change. Together, we must face the storm that looms, Thor commanded, his voice resonating with authority. The giants grew restless, emboldened by our past conflicts. We cannot afford to let old grudges reignite the fires of war. Hrimthasar nodded, her icy demeanor thawing, revealing the fierce spirit beneath. We must rally the tribes, convince them that our strength lies not in vengeance but in unity. If we can show them any way, perhaps the cycles of bloodshed can be broken. Vedafina, still grappling with the remnants of his former self, clenched his fists, the weight of his choices pressing down. The giants are stubborn, steeped in the ways of old. They will not easily abandon their thirst for vengeance. I can speak to them, but my words will not easily sway their heart. Then we shall stand beside you, Thor assured. A united front god and giant will send a signal of hope amidst the storm. Together, we are stronger. With newfound resolve, the trio set forth from the fortress, traversing the icy wastelands of Jotunheim. The wind howled like a banshee through the valleys, carrying with it whispers of rebellion from the giants who still clung to their grudges. Thor felt the pulse of destiny thrumming beneath his skin, each step resonating like the beat of a war drum. As they journeyed, visions of the past flickered before their eyes, battles fought, blood spilled, and the tragic tales of giants lost to the depths of vengeance. Each memory served as a reminder of the price of conflict, stoking the flames of determination that burned within them. Days passed as they traversed the frozen wilderness, and soon they came upon a gathering of giants, their colossal forms looming like shadows against the stark white landscape. The air buzzed with excitement, anger, and anticipation, a tempest brewing in the hearts of those assembled. Vedafina stepped forward, his presence commanding immediate attention. Listen, my kin, I return, not as a defeated giant, but as a harbinger of change. Together, we stand at a crossroads of destiny. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, skepticism painted on the faces of the giants. A hulking figure stepped forward, adorned in furs and crowned with antlers, his voice booming like thunder. Change, you would have us forsake our legacy, Vedafina. We are giants, we do not kneel to gods. Thor stepped forward, MJ honor held high, its power swirling around him like a tempest. I am Thor, son of Odin. I have not come to conquer, but to offer a choice to forge our destinies together, to end the cycles of bloodshed once and for all. The tension thickened, a palpable energy sparking in the air. The giant king, his name lost to time, snorted derisively. And what makes you think we will trust a god? We have seen your strength, but it has only brought us misery. Hrimthasar interjected, her voice steady and fierce. Because we share a common enemy, the chaos that festers in the hearts of both gods and giants can only be quelled through unity. We have fought against each other for too long, it is time to fight for our survival. A silence enveloped the crowd, heavy with contemplation. The echoes of battles past stirred the souls of giants, and uncertainty flickered in their eyes. It was then that a voice rang out from the back, a young giantess, her spirit fierce and bright. What if we refuse? What if we continue to let vengeance guide our actions, overthrowing all who dare oppose us? Vedafina stepped forward, a glimmer of hope lighting his expression. I once thought the same, but the weight of blood on my hands has become unbearable. We have lost too many brothers and sisters to this endless cycle. I choose a different path, one forged in honor, not hatred. The air crackled with the tension of their shared history, and Thor felt the shifting tide of emotions. If we fight together, we can carve a future for our children, one unfettered by the chains of vengeance. Imagine a world where giants and gods stand united, not as enemies but as allies. The murmurs grew louder, bubbling with the conflict of old versus new, heart versus mind. The giant king clenched his jaw, wrestling with the weight of his own grudges. What if we cannot trust you? What if this is merely a ploy to subjugate us further? Then let us prove our worth, Thor declared, resolve pulsating through his voice. Challenge us, let us face the fiercest of your warriors, and if we fall, it will confirm that your doubts were right. But if we stand victorious, will you not consider paving a new path together? The giant king regarded him with skepticism, but could not ignore the glimmer of truth in Thor's eyes. Very well, I shall summon our strongest to battle. Let this test of strength determine our fates. The ground trembled as the giants rallied, their voices rising in a cacophony of feral pride and anticipation. Moments later, a colossal warrior emerged, cloaked in armor forged from the darkest obsidian, his eyes burning with fierce determination. I am Jormungand, the serpent of Jotunheim. I will test the might of you, God. Thor stood tall, the weight of responsibility resting heavily upon his shoulders. Then let us begin. Let honor guide our blades. The atmosphere crackled with tension, the air growing thick with the scent of battle. As Jormungand charged, the earth shook beneath his feet, and Thor called forth the thunder, summoning Mjolnir from above. The hammer arced through the air, colliding with the giant S-form in a brilliant explosion of energy. A titanic clash erupted, thunder and fury intertwining as Thor fought with the ferocity of a tempest. Each strike resonated like a heartbeat, echoing the struggles of gods and giants alike. Jormungand retaliated with the strength of mountains, his blows raining down like avalanches, yet Thor stood unyielding, the power of Asgard surging through him. With a mighty roar, he summoned the storms, lightning arcing from Mjolnir, illuminating the battlefield. The collide of forces sent shockwaves through the air, shaking the very foundation of Jotunheim as giants and gods bore witness to the epic struggle unfolding before them. Is this the best you can do? Thor bellowed, his voice reverberating like the thunder itself, resonating deep within the hearts of those who watched. But Jormungand, fierce and relentless, growled defiantly. You may be God, but we are giants. We will not fall so easily. The battle waged on, the ground trembling under their might, until finally, with a burst of raw energy, Thor unleashed the full force of Mjolnir. The impact sent Jormungand crashing to the ground, the earth groaning beneath the weight of defeat. As silence fell, Thor stood over the fallen giant, the power of victory coursing through him. Will you not consider our offer now? He implored, his voice steady yet empathetic. Let us unite for a brighter future. Jormungand, panting and defeated, gazed up at the god, recognition dawning in his eyes. You have proven your strength, but strength alone does not forge unity. It is the heart that shares its wounds that creates bonds. Thor extended a hand, his heart swelling with hope. Then let us heal together. Together, we can build a legacy that honors our past without being enslaved by it. Slowly, the giant nodded, rising to his feet with newfound respect. The air hummed with tension as the other giants looked on, waiting for a sign, a flicker of change. Then a finished step forward, his voice resonating with conviction. We have witnessed the strength of the gods and the resolve of giants. Let us forge a pact that will echo through the ages, a pact of honor, respect, and unity. As the giants gathered around, they felt the pulse of destiny thrumming in the air, a promise of peace igniting in their hearts. One by one, they began to lower their weapons, the barriers of old grudges and hatred beginning to shatter like ice under the sun. Thor, Hrimthasar, and Vedafina stood at the forefront, the embodiment of hope, a trio forged from the ashes of conflict, ready to change the fate of realms. The world around them shimmered with the potential of rebirth, the whispers of ancient grudges fading like shadows before the dawn. And as the giants and gods stood, ******** Thor destroys bridge until ice giant returns part 4 *******. As dawn broke over the horizon, the first rays of light danced across the icy expanse of Jotunheim, illuminating the faces of giants and gods alike. They stood together on the precipice of change, the air thick with anticipation and uncertainty. The tension that had once threatened to erupt into bloodshed now shimmered with the promise of unity. Thor, standing alongside Hrimthasar and Vedafina, felt the gravity of the moment weighing upon him. His heart thrummed with hope, yet shadows of doubt lingered in the edges of his mind. Will they truly forsake their grudges? He wondered, casting a glance at the crowd gathered around them, each giant wrestling with their own internal battles. Change is a storm that requires both strength and finesse, Hrimthasar replied, her voice steady, her icy demeanor softening with the first light of day. They must see that unity is not weakness, it is a powerful force to reshape destinies. Vedafina nodded, and newfound confidence blossoming in his chest. We have all tasted the bitterness of war, yet we have the power to forge a new legacy. It is time to awaken the hearts of my kin. As if in response, the gathering giants began to murmur, their voices rising in a chorus of anticipation. A sense of urgency crackled in the air, urging them to make the choice that could alter the course of their lives forever. "Let us begin," bellowed Thor, his voice resonating like thunder across the frost-beaten landscape. "Let us pledge our honor before the realms, for we are not merely gods and giants, we are guardians of our destinies." The giants surged forward, their colossal forms blocking out the sun as they encircled Thor, Hrimthasar, and Vedafiner. The young giantess, who had spoken out before, stepped forward, her fierce spirit unyielding. "We are here to listen, to decide our fate together." In that moment, the ancient king of the giants, cloaked in furs and crowned with antlers, stepped forth, his voice booming with authority. "What is this newfound alliance? You would have us trust in a god, one who has brought ruin upon our kin." Yet the atmosphere in the crowd shifted. Doubt mingled with curiosity, and eyes glinted with a desire for something more than the bitter cycle of vengeance. Thor stepped forward, raising MJ Elner high, its power radiating through the air. "Trust is earned, not given. Let us prove ourselves through our actions, not mere words. Let me and my companions stand before you once more as champions of honor." A hush fell over the gathering, and Vedafina seized the moment. "You know me. I was once blinded by rage and sought vengeance at all costs, but there is a flicker of warmth within each of us, a chance to rise from the cold depths of despair. Will you not heed the call of change?" Hrimthasar added, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. "Together, we can build a bridge where once there was only ice. Let your hearts be filled by the warmth of unity." The crowd shifted, the tension palpable as the giants began to murmur among themselves. It was then that the giant king raised his hand, silencing the gathered multitude. "And what do you propose, the test of strength, the battle? Or do you wish to parley in the warmth of friendship?" Thor felt the tremor of fate in every heartbeat. "Let us face the fiercest among you, a challenge to prove that we are worthy of your trust. If we fall, you shall know your doubts were well-founded. But if we stand victorious, will you not join us in forging a new path?" "Very well," the giant king conceded, his voice softening. "Let the might of gods and giants clash in a battle that will echo through the ages. We shall see if the thunder can withstand the fury of the first." The ground shook as the giants began to roar their approval, their pride igniting the air like a wildfire. From the crowd, a towering figure emerged, a monstrous giant clad in armor forged from the deepest ice. "I am Jormungand, the serpent of Jotunheim. I will test the might of your god." Thor felt the weight of the moment pressing heavily on him, but he met the gaze of Jormungand with unwavering resolve. "Then let us begin this trial of strength. Show us what you are made of." The two titans faced each other, the air crackling with tension as the earth trembled beneath their feet. Thor summoned the storm, the winds howling around him, while Jormungand readied himself, muscles coiling like a spring ready to unleash its fury. With a deafening roar, they charged at one another, the impact of their blows sending shockwaves through the air. Jormungand swung his massive fist, but Thor ducked and countered with a strike of NJ Elner, the hammer crackling with lightning as it collided with the giant S-form. The sound echoed like thunder across the ice, and the giants watching could feel the energy coursing through the air. With each clash, Thor summoned the strength of his ancestors, the echoes of past battles fueling his resolve. "I will not yield," he shouted, determination roaring through him. Jormungand retaliated with a flurry of blows, ice shards flying from his massive fist like projectiles. Thor dodged and weaved, summoning the power of thunder to strike back with renewed vigor. The two titans clashed in a wild dance of battle, a tempest of fury and strength echoing across the frozen landscape. "Is this the best you can do?" Thor bellowed, his voice rising above the cacophony of battle. "I am the thunder that shakes the heavens." Yet Jormungand, fierce and relentless, growled defiantly in response. "He may be a god, but we are giants. We do not fall so easily." Amidst the chaos, the two titans fought with the fury of storms, each blow resonating with the power of their respective realms. Thunder clashed against ice, and the landscape around them trembled under the weight of their ferocity. With a sudden surge of energy, Thor summoned the might of NJ Elnar, channeling the storm itself into a colossal strike that sent Jormungand crashing to the ground. The air filled with a brilliant flash of light, the shockwave resonating like a bell tolling through the ages. As silence enveloped the battlefield, Thor stood tall, his heart pounding with adrenaline. "Will you now consider our offer?" he implored, voice steady yet filled with urgency. "Let us unite for a brighter future." Jormungand, panting beneath the weight of defeat, gazed up at Thor, recognition dawning in his eyes. "You have proven your strength, But strength alone does not forge unity. It is the heart that shares its wounds that creates bonds. With every ounce of honor he could muster, Thor extended a hand toward Jormungand, his heart swelling with hope. And then let us heal together. Together, we can build a legacy that honors our past without being enslaved by it. Slowly, Jormungand rose to his feet, a newfound respect gleaming in his icy gaze. If you truly mean it, if there is honor to be found, then I will stand beside you. The murmurs of the giants grew louder, the tension between them beginning to thaw. Dadafiner stepped forward, voice resonating with conviction. We have witnessed the strength of the gods and the resolve of giants. Let us forge a pact that will echo through the ages, a pact of honor, respect, and unity. As the giants gathered around, they felt the pulse of destiny thrumming in the air, a promise of peace igniting within their hearts. One by one, they began to lower their weapons, the barriers of old grudges and hatred beginning to shatter like ice under the sun. The atmosphere shimmered with the potential of rebirth, the whispers of ancient grudges fading like shadows before the dawn. Thor, Hrimthur, and Vedafina stood at the forefront, the embodiment of hope, a trio forged from the ashes of conflict, ready to change the fate of realms. And as they clasped hands, the bonds of a new alliance formed amidst the icy wasteland of Jotunheim. The world around them transformed, the promise of unity scattering the clouds that had long shrouded their destinies. Let our story be one of honor and courage, Thor proclaimed, casting his gaze across the assembled giants. Together, we will face whatever challenges lie ahead, united in purpose and strength. With that declaration echoing through the ages, the giants and gods set forth into the unknown, ready to confront the storm that loomed on the horizon. The air crackled with anticipation, and destiny beckoned them forth, a legend waiting to be written. ***, to be continued ***.